What's up, everyone? It's Marcus, the author of Unbroken, Walking on New Ground, here with Erin Kabbash, son of the king of cars, the salesman extraordinaire. What would you even call your dad? Your dad was a legend, a true legend, Eddy Kabbash. Well, Eddie used to say activity creates activity, and I'm going to talk about the return of the miracle penny. So in one of the last videos, and I would like to say this is the 14th video that I'm shooting for Unbroken, and 1s and 4s are my angel numbers, so it's all in alignment. I'm going to tell the story really quick just to get this video going. I was a salesman. Eddy Kabbash, Erin's father, was just, one of the most brilliant individuals I've ever met in my life. Top salesman of cars in all of North for Honda?
For Honda, yep.
For Honda, all of North. So there ain't no other person that sold more Hondas than, and he sold used cars too, but Hondas, that dude would I might struggle to get one or two a couple days, they boom, 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 boom. You just see him fill up, And so somehow they got him to become a manager, and he made a bet with the GM that he could sell more cars in his first month of being a sales manager than they ever did before, and he pulled that off. But that's a different story. I don't even know if I have time to go into how he pulled that one off, maybe. But when he did his first sales manager meeting, he came into the room and he started talking to everyone, and he went around and he handed out $100 to someone, a 50, a 20, and maybe a 10, and then he came over and gave me a penny. And knowing Kabbash, if you put money in your hand, it was your money, right? And I'm thinking, I was tight with Eddie. I'm like, bro, hook it up. Give me the 100, right? Give me the 100. And so I actually got called out for an appointment, so I went out to try to sell a car, and I didn't get the gist of the meeting that day. And so I couldn't sell this person a car. I tried all day for hours. She was buried in her trade, which meant she owed way more than it was worth and couldn't trade it in. And so in the afternoon, I walked back and I took the penny out of my pocket and I threw it at Eddie. And I'm like, take that penny back. That's, bad luck penny. And I noticed that he scrambled for it. And I'm like, well, it kind of clicked a little bit, but I didn't think much because he was like, shh. And he picked it up and put it in his pocket. Later that night, I walked up into the sales tower and everyone was laughing. And I said, well, what's so funny? And they're like, the joke's on you. And I'm like, why is the joke on me? And they're like, yeah, that penny was a collector's penny, and at the time I think it was worth a couple $100 or something. And the point of the story was, while everyone was looking at the guy with the $100, here I was looking at the guy with the $100, and I didn't even take a second to look at the penny that was in my hand. And it was 3 times worth, for whatever it was, more than the $100 that the guy had in his pocket. Well, Eddie didn't give it back to me.
Gotta love it.
He wouldn't give it back to me that night. He's like, you didn't learn your lesson. And for years, I tried to get that penny back, and I couldn't get back from him because he felt that I still hadn't evolved to where I needed to be in my life as a human to fully learn that story. And I write about it in Unbroken because my accident was after that story, that experience. And while I was laying face down in the creek dying, it came to my mind that, here I am, I'm dying, I'm about to lose my life, and I never really appreciated it. And that's when the penny story came to mind. So activity creates activity. Guess what? How many years later is it now? Probably 25, 26, 27.
Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe 30? That was
30,
back,
maybe.
yeah, because that was back in 1990. Wow, dude.
Yeah, 30 years, yeah.
30 years. So I shot a video a while back. Erin caught it, gave me a call.
Yeah, so I shot a FaceTime, and just appreciated the fact that he shared that story of my dad, and made me kind of think and just, I think, reflect on a couple of things, I guess, came to mind for me. I think one thing that came to mind for me for that story is that, just the fact that we exist. Like, I heard a stat, I don't know if you've heard the stat, but just the fact that we even exist is 4 trillion to 1. Just the fact that we even have this opportunity, to be alive. And it also makes me chuckle with my dad, because my dad definitely used to spoil me rotten, and, growing up. And it's funny because the gentleman that said that stat said, and we have the audacity to go to our parents and ask them for stuff, right? Like, I need a car and I need allowance and it's like, I gave you the gift of life, man. Like, I gave you 4 trillion to 1. Like, that's it. That's all you get. Get out of here. But no, I was definitely blessed to have my dad. And, Mark and I were talking a little bit before too, just about my career and how it kind of aligns with that story a bit. And I didn't even realize it. So my history is I originally went to school for computer programming and got my master's degree in information systems, and was really focused in that world. And I ended up getting a side job in valet parking to kind of slow my burn. And I was in between jobs and I was trying to keep up with my student loan payments. And at the time I had this very entrepreneurial side of my brain. So I was trying to, try these new ideas and launch these websites and these kind of swing for the fence entrepreneurial ideas. And that happened for, maybe a year and a half. And while I was at this company, they allowed me the opportunity to start to move up through the company and learn about business firsthand. So in college, I read a lot about business, did a lot of those things, but at this company, I started to manage P&Ls myself, right? I had the responsibility of the P&L. I had to create talent development programs. I had to create safety culture. I had to manage the clients. I had to start learning about legal and, managing contracts, and then working on sales. And I started getting the opportunity to get involved in that. And I think one day I had an epiphany at work that, we weren't parking cars at the company I was at. Really what we were doing, and I think it was when I had lunch with the founder, he told me that he was just in awe that he started this business with one location and grew it to over 15,000 associates across the country. And when he was at the annual meeting that year, he looked out into the crowd of, 1,000 leaders and was just like, wow, like this thing I created opportunity for people so they could buy houses and create college opportunities for people. And he tapped me on the chest and was like, you have that same power, right, at our company. And you can sell, you can create opportunity, you can train and develop leaders. And I was like, wow, that's what we're really doing here, right? And so over time, I kind of learned in the tech world, you had to have a degree and this crazy resume and, right? And it's like, how do you even get started? Whereas in the valet parking world, it's like you show up with a good attitude and a driver's license, and sky's kind of the limit. And I've met more talented and driven people in the parking industry than I have in any industry. And I blinked and 17 years went by, which is pretty crazy. So I'm still in that world, and have worked my way up to a senior leader in the company. And it ties back, I think, to that penny story, because I got this little valet job. I used to call it my joke job, and I was already doing it, right? I was right there. Like, the valet parking job was my penny, and I was looking out here trying to figure out how to get rich quick or how to find my purpose. And it was already right in front of my face. I was like literally working for the company already, and I didn't even realize it. Right, I had it right there in my hand the whole time. So yeah, pretty interesting when you told me that story, when I got to read it in the book. And definitely connected some dots for me.
Yeah, very symbiotic and very like mirroring of that. It's like, where are we in our lives? And they say, if you're depressed, you're in the past. If you're anxious, you're in the future. Very few people are in the present. And I can say that for a long time I wasn't. And I think that your father witnessed that for many years. And unfortunately, he passed. And I still wasn't the self-aware individual I am right now. So, he knew that and he was still mentoring me to become the person that I am. And like I said, now that I think it's time to get the penny back. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. I think the miracle. And, another thing I'm going to say is Eddie was famous for saying this to especially new salesmen who are struggling or whatever the case was. He would always say, don't give up until the miracle happens. So I consider this not just probably one of the most poignant lessons I've ever learned in my life, but also kind of a miracle penny, because as an individual that was paralyzed and diagnosed to never walk again, I never gave up, and the miracle is happening right now.
Yep, and I think one of the things you said with my dad was like, you can't get the penny back until you're ready, right? And so I think for me, like the moment is like, it has now shifted, right? Like you are getting mentored, but now you are the mentor. And I think from your experiences, right, and that you writing this book, you reconnecting with me, and like sharing this story with me, it becomes like mentorship, that way. And I think that is that moment in time, right? And at some point, maybe that writing of the book is you making that shift into like a mentor and all these experiences that you've had in your life. So thank you for taking that time and creating this community and this drive to share that down, because it's extremely valuable. So I think with that said,
come on, no further ado. I get the penny back.
My dad is
it's only been 30 plus years. Awesome. I got the penny.
Yeah,
got the penny.
And
I
that's
can't believe it.
The legit penny. My dad is a big collector, and when he passed away, his collection came to me. And so when I read the book, I was like, I wonder if it's in his collection. Wouldn't that be crazy? So I went in and I went through all of his stuff, and sure as shit, there it was sitting right there.
That's the one, the miracle. So 30 years, is that, it's interesting too, because when Eddie brought me into the car dealership, he also invited me into his life. He was a kind, loving individual, but he did have a different side. You didn't want to piss him off, because I think he might have fired me once, but we don't go down that line. But we go back a long ways. I remember we were at a Broncos game, and he was so small, I was holding him up on my shoulder to watch the play. So time goes by, and I'm just really grateful that I made the effort to put the videos out there, to stay in touch with people that, I've cared about and that care about me, and for it to come, full circle. And I get the penny back. It's like the miracle penny. I never gave up, and I really appreciate, Erin's father. He's one of the greatest. There should be a statue for the guy, I'm telling you. Like, he was, he was a legend. He was, he was a legend in Denver and many other places. I've never met anyone like him before or after, and he was just really, an inspirational individual to watch him. And I asked him one time. I thought your dad was pretty wealthy and didn't really have to do what he did. And I asked him why, and he's like, I just love being the best.
Yeah, he likes the game. I think that was the thing when I was talking to my mom. That you're coming out, and we were talking about the sales and all that stuff, and she said that he just was so addicted to the game. Like he just really liked the game. He enjoyed like you said, that I say sales is a verb, and she would say, like, even on Sundays on the day off, that was like the one day a week the dealership was closed, he was so driven that he would go to all the dealerships around and put his business card on all the cars, because a lot of people would come on Sunday because they didn't like the pressure of the sales team, right? And they would look and try to find the cars that they liked. And so every once in a while they would pick up his business card and give him a call, and he would set up an appointment on Monday, and boom, by 11 a.m. Monday he sold a car already before people even showed up.
He had a sector of Denver's community down pat, the Asian community. If someone of Asian descent came on the when I first started, they were like, oh, don't go talk to them, they're going to look for Eddie. And I'm like, that can't be the case. Like, that's just not the case. Not every individual of Asian descent is going to look for Eddie. It's crazy. After about 3 months, I realized that was the case. He owned that community because they loved him. He gave them great deals. He was easy to communicate with. I don't know how long we want this video to go, but I do want to tell one more story about the great Eddie K. When he became sales manager, the penny story happened, and then he also made a bet with the general sales manager. And how he got there, I don't know. Eddie's intellect was way above this guy, but he was the GM. Eddie just loved selling cars, and they made a bet. They made a bet that Eddie's first month on the desk as a sales manager, he could sell more cars that month and beat the record for any month in history at that dealership. So they didn't put any parameters on it, right? There were no parameters, and so Eddie called a Monday meeting, which we never had, and the door's locked. You can't get in, and I think I had the day off. I was all pissed off. I'm like, Eddie, come on, bro. Like, I get that you want to be the best, but Monday meeting, come on, dude. Like, and so the door's locked. We're all waiting, and so Eddie comes, opens up the door to this huge, massive meeting room, right? We all go walking in, and I was staggered. I'm like, what is this? There were electronics, brand new electronics, stacked from floor to ceiling, wall to wall, everywhere. It was like you walked into an electronics factory, and Eddie's like, the paradigm has shifted, and here's how it shifted. And so if you sold this many cars before noon, or whatever the parameters were, you got this, a TV. What he had done is he went to all the big box stores and bought out all their returns. And he got a U-Haul truck, and he packed this room. Dude, he got the brilliance is amazing, man. And that's why this video is a lot about the brilliance of Erin's father, Eddie Kabbash, because who would have thought of that? He goes out on the weekend, fills up a U-Haul, comes back, puts them all in the room, and he beat the record. Everyone was selling cars because, you sell a car, you're going to get a TV, a VCR, back then VCRs, a Walkman. So his brilliance was one of a kind. And, I feel very honored and blessed to have had such a mentor in my life. And I appreciate what you're saying, that now it's time that the penny has been transferred over, and the mentorship starts from here, from my heart, from the lessons I've learned, and to share them with people that maybe are going through hard times. And that's a lot of what the book is about, is how I got through some of the most difficult times. And, I think, when you look at the blessings, and especially in the challenging times, the blessings are more what you see, and being in the present, and not always looking maybe out here, or what I think I need, or do I have this, or whatever, but really being present with what you have.
Yeah, I think too, for me, it's over my career, my life, I've discovered, and I think my dad's passing really underscored it for me, is that people are the foundation of anything great, right? And I think we all struggle with things, and you have so much power to help your human next to you, and so go out of your way, right? Help your human next to you, and the people that you love around you. Like, those are our true blessings, and they're not here forever, right? And you might not know those incredible folks that are around you, or like Mark and I haven't talked in decades, and how stupid is that? Well,
we've talked, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but how stupid is that, right? It's like we have all these incredible people in our circle. And so, don't take that for granted, right? Like, those are your pennies. Those are your folks that are right in front of your face that are incredibly powerful, and you have the power to connect with them. You have the power to help them, and they have the power to help you. And just realize that. Be mindful of that. And
what Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So, Bro, big love, man.
Yeah, man.
Big love.
Appreciate you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good to see you.
I appreciate being part of it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video for Unbroken. Erin, thanks, bro. Thanks for coming through with the penny. This is an awesome day in my life. This is really means the world to me. So thanks, brother.
Read that book.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the video, y'all.